Okay, we'll start again. What I mean by producing is, I read her bio in the Norton Anthology, and then again, the sense of derisiveness there is, Flannery O'Connor is the included person who has the blood disease, and then she was called lupus. To me, what I think is more important about her writing is that she was writing in a time period where abstract expressionism was being developed, and a lot of new things about art were, had started in Europe and were being, brought here. And so when I think about this Joy character, I think about someone who's named Olga, and she wants to experience what Willem de Kooning calls being a very bright person. She wants to learn to be a very bright person. And you can find that, in many abstract expressionist work, the use of color just to highlight that sense of ecstatic experience, that sense of being so happy you're oblivious really to so many other facts of existence. So Joy as a character, I think, is interesting because Flannery O'Connor is Catholic. She called herself a Catholic, and so what I find most interesting about Joy as a character, what complicates her, is her ambiguity of experience. She's highly educated, but lacks a lot of elementary ideas in the field that she promotes herself as. For instance, she's in philosophy, but then she states that, everything is about the nothing in the nothing. I've read philosophers. I feel I feel that they are written for a mass-produced audience, and so I feel I've grasped what they're telling me. And I don't view that about philosophy. I view philosophy as about someone who's capable of really thinking about an entire system, and almost as a system of diagnostics. And so when I think about Soren Kierkegaard, the actual process of a philosopher that's interested in narrative, that's really important. You can't just call everything about nothing about science. It's about sentiment and relations and all sorts of things. And so that's interesting about Joy, that sense of complete innocence of her own mindset, and also her complete complicity with her parents, in a sense of being willing to only speak in terms of subliminal messaging. What's most important to her is that sense of control through the subliminal. But then she calls herself a philosopher. To me, that's someone who's more interested in communications. But anyway, otherwise, the story itself has no real plot. There's, a brief conversation which qualifies the definition of terms and people, and then there's a brief event of romantic interlude in which Joy is hurt and she's stolen from. She's lied to and stolen from in a way that humiliates her essential condition as someone who was amputated. He takes her false leg, and to me, when I think about a character that's that studied and can't avoid that experience in some way, I think about an essential woman's condition of career as a child. If she were to someone that were to speculate on the mythic possibilities inherent in that story, would she not know to think in terms of him being a confidence man, and know essentially that he's there to steal her confidence? That's me. The sentimentality is never important for this Joy character. So that and also I think as a writer, Flannery O'Connor is a lot more interested in the ability for narrative to show a scene merely for its symbolic qualities. I think she is very interested and fascinated by nature as no longer existing in a sense of grandeur anymore, but rather when she talks about like lakes or other experiences, I think she's really starting to talk about a very clear sky like a diamond. That's what she's getting at there, is that the entire experience is about the act of marriage and the transference of diamonds. So that.